Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and we're doing another kitchen video. In fact, we're making some more stuff. A while ago I did my Dungeons & Dragons Iron Rations video. One of the things to make for that was parched wheat, which involved this. We got some organic hard wheat kernels, and we still have some left over. And another thing I made for the Dungeons & Dragons Iron Rations was pemmican. And a great channel that I have subscribed to called James Townsend & Son, they recently did a video involving wheat berries, and I just thought, hey, this is a great combination. Why don't we try this recipe out? Because James Townsend & Son, their videos are kind of reenactment of colonial America, 17th century, that kind of thing. And they always do different food recipes, a lot of interesting stuff, hence the pemmican video. Now, this most recent one, and I'll put a link down below, he's talking about how in, I guess, colonial America, they didn't always have access to coffee beans, so they would make imitation coffee. In fact, he found out about this from an excerpt in a book. Again, all of the details are in his video that's down below. Essentially, he just cooks up some of these wheat berries and then grinds them up like coffee beans and makes coffee out of them. So I'm fascinated to try this myself. I figure, what the heck, we still got the wheat, let's give it a whirl and see how this goes. Alright, so here's our pan, and the heat is starting to come through. No real kind of recipe to this, just going to pour the wheat berries in. That's approximately the same amount that we did when we made the parched wheat, and I'm just going to let it kind of slide around here. I'm going to stir it a few times. It's going to start popping because we have that experience from the parched wheat. They even got the lid standing by for when it does actually start spitting up. So let's just give this a whirl. As it cooks, I'm going to stir it around a few times. It will start popping. In James Townsend's video, he cooked it to the point where it was almost dark color. I guess he figured that was like coffee beans. But then he said it was a little too bitter. It was cooked too long. So I'm going to actually let this cook to roughly a little more than the parched wheat element. And then we'll take it off the heat at that point. So let's give this a try. Okay, I think you can see there, it's actually starting to pop now. So we had that exact same experience when we did parched wheat. I'm just going to give it a little stir. And actually it smells a bit like popcorn, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, let's cover that thing up. Yeah, this is pretty much at the stage it was at when we made it into parched wheat. It's jumping around there. It's got that popcorny smell, and we're just going to see when it actually stops popping. I think that's pretty much the point at which we want to stop. As you can see, it's getting very smoky, and it's definitely getting quite... It's not dark. It's not super dark like the way it happened for James Townsend. Technically, it was John who was doing the video. But we've got a very, very close case here, I think. We're getting into almost burnt popcorn smell now. So I have a feeling if we move it over here and then turn off the element and just let this thing cool and come to room temperature. It's probably not coming out in the camera, but it's a much darker color now than it was at first. And I think, given we're on that burnt popcorn smell now, we've probably reached the stage of whatever amount of baking, cooking, frying, broiling, whatever the heck you want to call this. I think we've got the grains about as cooked as they want to get. Alright, well, it's been about 15 minutes. This stuff is like basically room temperature now, so we're going to put it in the grinder and see what we get. Now, one interesting thing, Just compare the color of the original stuff to how dark this looks now. Alright, we got our coffee grinder standing by. Now, just so that it doesn't taint the results, we've actually cleaned out all the other coffee grains that were in here before. So this is sort of like it's brand new. And now we're just going to try pouring this thing in here. Maybe get a spoon as well and see what it's like after we grind it for a little bit here. So let's just get some of that in there very carefully. A little bit of spill. Alright, there it is, and we're going to grind this now. Alright, I mean that's got the consistency of coffee, and it smells interesting. So this might be our imitation coffee. Let's filter it and try it out. Looks like sawdust. Alright, coffee's made. Now, I'm going to have it the normal way, but I just want to try a little sampling of it. I've got my His Lordship cup here. I think it's appropriate for the kind of colonial look. And I'm just going to have a little sample. Oh my god, it's clear practically. It's like lemonade. Alright. Well, let's see what this is like. I'm not expecting good things. It's also really, really hot. Let's try it out here. Weird. Again, I normally have my coffee sweetened, and I'm going to do that in a second with this. It's not bad. It almost tastes like a tea. It doesn't taste like a coffee at all. Well, it's okay. Now the fridge has just kicked in to remind us we got to do this properly. My wife is going to have some with milk. I'm going to have some with sweetener. Let's see if that makes any difference. Alright, well, this is the way I usually have my coffee, and Dee has prepared her glass. Probably we needed to cook it to the point where it was a lot darker, and also James Townsend, the video, they actually used like an old style pot where they boiled it in there until the sediment landed at the bottom. Old style cooking. We put in a filter in a modern coffee machine. So anyway, Dee, let's have a little go here for science. Well, mine's kind of like tea. What's yours like?
I'm not really sure.
Is it gross?
No, it's not gross. You do kind of get that slightly burnt flavor. But it's off-putting because it looks white because of the milk.
Exactly. If it was a darker color, if we could put like food coloring in there, boom! Oh, it tastes great.
But yeah, it kind of, to me, it kind of looks like very weak tea.
It has that kind of a flavor.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed, but I think we should next time try roasting it a lot darker. And then, I know we don't have an old-fashioned pot, but at least put it into a pot and kind of boil it a little bit. And so maybe there might be a part 2 to this video.
Maybe. It seems like we always do that with Coffee Mate and the whole 9 yards. So.
Yeah.
Alright, well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole. Cheers.
See you next time. Cheers.